Thank you all for joining us tonight for this workshop. This is the Solarize the Land Trust workshop brought to you by Sparks Northwest and Jill Eichenhorst. Thank you all for coming. During this session, we ask that you stay muted, but if you have any questions that come up, please use the chat box. And about halfway through the presentation, Jill will be able to answer your questions. I wanted to, in addition to Jill, we also have Katie Ulrich, Homeownership Program Director with Proud Ground, Greg Haar with Solar for All, and also Haley Mountain, the Engagement Manager with Community Energy Project. So if you can move ahead, Jill. So yes, we are recording. So if you need the copy of the slideshow, let me know. Okay, Katie.
All right, great. Well, thank you guys for coming tonight and spending this time with us. We are excited that you're here, and hopefully you walk away with some good information. For those of you, most of you are familiar with Proud Ground because you're either a homeowner or a home buyer on our list, but sometimes we get people that come to our workshops that don't know us. So I'm going to do a quick overview. Proud Ground, we are a nonprofit community land trust. We've been around for about 20 years and we serve 5 different counties. So the numbers you see on that chart kind of show the different homes that we have in our program in each of the counties we serve. So next slide, please. And some of the services that we provide, so we are a HUD approved counseling agency, so we do financial wellness and help home buyers prepare for home ownership and home buying readiness. We also can do referrals to matched savings programs to help people save for either a home purchase or home repairs if you're a current homeowner. And then the biggest thing we do, obviously, is provide affordable home ownership opportunities and down payment assistance to ensure that home buyers are able to afford and can have access to home ownership. We also do pre-purchase and post-purchase education, and so this workshop is part of that service in trying to get more information about things that might be relevant in your purchase process or once you're a homeowner. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Katie. And Jill, do you want to take it away?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Jill Eichenhorst from Spark Northwest. Spark Northwest is a nonprofit organization. We are based in Seattle and we work throughout Washington and Oregon. And our mission is to create communities powered by locally controlled clean energy. We do that in a number of ways. The Solarize the Land Trust is just one of those programs, but one of the ones that we are most excited about. And also we have a partner on this project is Solar for All. We have Greg Haar here today as well, and Solar for All is a funding partner as well as helping us figure out all of the details of making these installations happen. And finally, our last partner is Sunlight Solar, and so they are the solar installer for this project that we're using for the grants that are funded through this program. So here's what we'll talk about today. First, the benefits of solar energy, what makes a good site, so you can kind of help to see if your site is a good one for solar. How much money you can save if you are going to get solar, how to apply for this program. And then finally, we'll wrap up with some information about community solar from our special guest from the Community Energy Project, Haley Mountain. As Ryan said, feel free to put questions in the chat. So you might want to practice right now by putting something in that chat, see if you can find it and put hi in there, say hi to us. Also, I have quite a bit of information on some of these slides, so we can email those to you. So don't feel like you need to write down every last little detail on here. And then as I mentioned, we'll also have a recording if you need to go back and see the presentation part again. Okay, so the first question I like to answer, because it's pretty important for the rest of the presentation, is does solar actually work here? So the Pacific Northwest is known as a fairly cloudy and rainy place, and it's fair, it's true. However, we do have quite a bit of solar in the region. This map shows why it works. So it shows the red areas show the sunniest parts of the country, and the blue and purple areas show the least sunny parts of the country. It also has Germany there for comparison. Germany is a world leader in installed solar. I think they have the most solar per capita, even though total they're less than China at this point. You can see that Germany is kind of bluish and purple, similar to the Northwest where we're blue compared to the rest of the country. So it's true that our reputation as a rainy place is deserved. However, compared to Germany that has all of that solar installed, we actually are quite a bit better in terms of the amount of sun that we could get, and so definitely solar does work here. So yes, it does. And you've probably noticed many of your neighbors already have solar. So here's just a few examples. These are actually your neighbors to the north. This is folks in the Seattle area. It's Eli and Jeppa. They are participated in our Solarize the Land Trust program with Homestead Community Land Trust, which it's just like Proud Ground, but has homes in the Seattle metro area. And so we completed that program last year, and through that program we had 11 solar homes, 48.6 kilowatts total of solar, and in total folks are saving $5,346 about annually. Probably shouldn't be that specific, but that's our estimate for how much they're saving annually with that solar. You may have also heard that there are many other solar neighbors in the Proud Ground Land Trust already. So Greg, if you want to talk a bit about what you've done with Solar for All.
Thanks, Jill. To keep it real quick, so Solar for All started installing solar on affordable homes back in 2015, and our first home ever was a Proud Ground home in Southeast Portland. And since then, we've done 14 Proud Ground homes and 22 homes in Oregon and Washington. And it's been great working with Proud Ground, and we're really excited to partner with Spark Northwest to do more Proud Ground homes this year and next. So looking forward to helping.
Okay. So let's step back a minute and think a little bit more about why we want to do solar. This is a slide that Haley shared with me, and I loved it, and she said that I could also present it. First, let's just think about why renewable energy versus fossil fuels. So solar is a form of renewable energy, as well as wind, and hydro is another renewable energy source. Fossil fuels include things like coal and natural gas or fracked gas. Fossil fuels have several negative consequences. Some things include that they'll eventually run out versus renewable energy has an inexhaustible supply of energy. Fossil fuels also cause a lot of pollution and land degradation. They cause hazardous work conditions for the workers who are involved in them. And they also have public health impacts such as cancer and asthma that disproportionately hurt vulnerable communities. Renewable energy, on the other hand, I mentioned it's an inexhaustible supply of energy like sunlight or wind. It's also very low in carbon emissions. It provides a safe working environment for workers who are part of the industry, And it can allow multiple uses for land. So you can have solar with agriculture, for example, wind with agriculture as well. Or like this program where you're putting solar on your home, it's using the space that's already used for your home. And then also because solar is located where you're living, it also creates local green jobs in your communities, and it also creates a lot more green jobs than fossil fuels do. And this is the current energy mix for the Portland area. This includes the utilities PGE and Pacific Power. So probably includes almost everyone on this call. And so you can see the wind is green and hydro is blue. Those are the renewable energy sources. The fossil fuel sources are natural gas, which is purple, and coal, which is black. So in all, 63% of the Portland metro energy comes from fossil fuels. So there's quite a bit of room for improvement there. And when you put solar on your home, you're displacing some of that energy and increasing the amount of solar that's provided. However, I want to point out that solar is just part of your energy solution. There's a lot of other things you can do as well as getting solar. So we call this the energy pyramid, and it shows at the bottom conservation. So this is things like turning down your thermostat or taking a shorter shower, things that you just, it's just a behavior change. You don't have to pay any money to do them. You just do them and you're able to save energy and save money. Next up on the pyramid is efficiency. These are things like a LED light bulb or an Energy Star refrigerator. They do the same function, but they use less energy to do it. There's usually some upfront cost. Light bulbs are fairly inexpensive, but a new refrigerator is a little more money upfront. However, over the long run, they'll almost always save you money. And so conservation and efficiency are really important to consider in addition to renewables. Renewables could include rooftop solar, also community solar, like we'll talk about at the end of this presentation, or renewables that your utility has. If you can't use rooftop solar or community solar, another option is a green power program through the utilities. However, those programs usually cost a little bit of extra money each month, and so the rooftop solar and community solar are nice because you actually can save money on your energy bills. So we do encourage you to think about conservation, those behavior change things, as well as efficiency. So I just wanted to share some resources for energy efficiency programs. This is a good one to not write everything down, but wait for those slides to come up by email. So Energy Trust serves Washington and, Portland General Electric, PGE, and Pacific Power utilities in Oregon. And they have several different programs, rebates for various energy efficiency measures like insulation or new heating systems. So you can go there and check out their programs and what they offer. And specifically, they have a program called Savings Within Reach that has higher rebates for income qualified customers. This is actually, I'd say it's a moderate income program. So it actually has a upper limit and a lower limit. If you fall below that limit, then they would encourage you to seek out the weatherization programs. So the weatherization programs come from multiple different agencies. I've shown the 3 counties that I most expected people to come from here. If you don't see something here, feel free to get in touch with us and we can help you find what the weatherization program would be as well. And so they offer all kinds of different opportunities. They would actually come to your home and assess it and decide what would make the most sense to do at your home. And then those services would actually be at no cost. So back to solar. The type of technology we're talking about in this program is solar photovoltaics. It's also known as PV for short, solar PV you'll hear. And this is usually what people are talking about when they say rooftop solar or solar panels. They almost always mean solar PV. What we're not working on in this program are solar shingles, for example. Folks may have heard about cool Tesla's solar shingles. They are cool, however, they're not really super available, pretty limited in the people who can get them right now, and they're also very expensive up front. So not something that we're talking about in this program. And another technology is solar hot water. This doesn't produce electricity, it just produces hot water that you could use, for example, for showers or in your home. That technology, you may see it around on some people's homes, but for the most part, people aren't installing it very much anymore on homes because solar PV has really come down in cost, and it usually makes more sense to go for the solar PV. So in addition to the stuff we already talked about, solar is really a great technology for homeowners. It does have low pollution. It's one of the lowest impacts of any energy technology, even when you include the manufacturing and the disposal of it. It's also very low maintenance. So maintenance includes usually just washing the solar panels. How often you do it depends. In our climate, we get quite a bit of rain, and so that actually helps keep them clean. And so you may not actually need to wash them very much. Some people find that it does improve their production. So basically what happens is, if you think about a dirty window, you get less light through a dirty window. It's the same with the solar panels. So if you do clean them off, that can help you get a little bit more out of them, but you probably don't need to do that more often than once a year. And even then, many people will get by with doing it less often. When you do it, this is something to talk to your installer about a little bit more to find out exactly what they recommend, but generally you don't want to use any soaps, really just water, and you can use a brush like that one to clean it off. You can pay somebody to do it. However, because it doesn't improve your production that much, it may not improve your energy savings that much, and it might not actually be worth it to pay someone to clean your panels. Other than that, there's really not much. It's very low maintenance technology. They also have a very long life. Generally, we expect them to last 20 to 25 years. They could last longer than that even, but that's typically how long they're warranted for. So once you get them up there, they'll just keep producing for a very long time. And finally, of course, the big benefit is that you have free fuel from the sun. You can start producing your own energy, which is great, and you can it'll help you save money on your energy bills. So I'll talk more about how much money you can save later. I do want to point out in this talk about the benefits that some people think that one benefit would be backup power. So when the power goes out, the solar would allow you to continue producing power. However, that's not usually the case with solar. Most of the time it goes down when the grid goes down. And that's in order to keep the workers who are trying to fix your power safe so that you're not sending electricity back onto those power lines. It is possible to get a backup system. What you need is a battery backup. Those are fairly expensive. The cost right now is around $10,000 to get them installed. And there's not really any way to make money back on them like there is with solar. You're not going to have energy savings from them. The only benefit is that they would provide backup power. So that's a lot of money to pay for some backup power. Most folks are not doing that right now. However, they are becoming more popular and they're also coming down in cost. Batteries are. So you may find in 5 or 10 years it actually makes sense to install batteries. There may be a new program that the utility has that would help you make back some of the money. So that is possible down the road. However, we're not doing battery backup systems with this program, and so it's good to know that you won't have backup power from the solar. Okay, next let's talk about the how you know if you have a good site. So overall, this is something that we will work with the installer to determine, but it's helpful to know these things yourself so you kind of know what to expect. So first of all, you want a roof that's in good condition. This is maybe not very obvious to people, but it is really important because once you put your solar panels up there, you don't want to have to take them back off to re-roof. So if your roof has not been replaced recently, it may not be a good candidate until after you replace your roof again. So that's something really important to keep in mind. If you do have to take the panels off to re-roof, that does cost some money. We expect it would be maybe $1,000 to $2,000. So just keep that in mind. And if you do need to re-roof, if your roof is at a point where it needs to be replaced, you do have some time to do that with this program. So we'd encourage you to start thinking about that immediately. And there's also programs to help you pay for a roof replacement if you need it and you're income qualified. So that's something that you can get in touch with Ryan to learn more about, maybe even not for solar, but just because you want to know about it. And the second piece here is that your roof should be facing south, east, or west. Most people think south is good. West and east also work well. West is a little bit better than east, but both work pretty well. A north-facing roof or northwest or northeast, you're not going to get enough sun there, so we won't be looking at homes with only those roofs. Not so good things include lots of shade, of course. So if you have trees or even other homes nearby or roof lines from your own home, those are things that can cast shade and cause a problem. And additionally, if you have a really small roof space, I know that there are many folks who live in townhomes who are part of Proud Ground, and for the most part, these homes are not a great fit. If you have these kind of lots of gables and small roofs, or even if that's what your single family home is like, it's just hard to get enough panels on there to make them to make a good size system and make it affordable. And even if you could put it on a couple of different parts of the roof, that costs more money to put it all in different areas, and it can just become prohibitively expensive. So if you have a home like that one in the picture, probably not a great fit either. So now I'm going to talk about a few technical terms. So just a few definitions, really. So first is the kilowatt. This is how we measure the size of the solar system. And then a kilowatt hour is how you measure your electric use and also how the solar production are measured. It's super easy to confuse these. Even the pros do it, so don't worry if you get confused, but it's just good to keep in mind that those are two separate things. A good way to think about this is if you have a light bulb, a 10-watt LED light bulb, and you run it for 1 hour, it would use 10 watt hours. And a watt is, or there are 1,000 watts in a kilowatt. So it gives you an idea that a watt over time becomes watt hours. So that's helpful to understand how system sizes work. So In this climate, 1 kilowatt makes about 1,000 kilowatt hours per year, probably a little bit more if you have a good site, but it's a good rule of thumb there. And the average home, this varies a lot, but we'll just say it uses 8,000 kilowatt hours per year. And so a 4 kilowatt system, we're looking at 3 to 4 kilowatt systems as part of this program, would produce about 4,000 kilowatt hours in a year. And that's about half of that average home's use. I also have a photo of the panels there, so you can see what the dimensions are approximately. So the way that you save money with solar is through this billing mechanism or billing arrangement called net metering. So the way net metering works is that when the sun is up and your solar panels are producing energy, you'll be sending power out to the grid, and your meter will actually run backwards at that point. They're actually digital meters, so they don't spin backwards, but they kind of go backwards. So it's not quite as exciting, but people love to see their meters spin backwards. And then say at night, or when you're just using energy in your home or it's not sunny out, say in the winter, and you're not producing energy, then you'll continue to get energy from the grid just like you have in the past. And your meter will run the regular way, as it always has. And so what happens is you get a credit on your bill, and it rolls over from month to month, and that goes for up to 1 year. And so when we get the most sun in the summer months here, you can kind of bank those credits and use them in the winter when we get less sun, and also you're probably using more energy in the winter time. So that mechanism allows you to actually save money on your energy bills. So to get an idea of how much you will save, this is an example from a recent installation that we looked at. So the annual savings here, so every year the savings are between $500 and up to $800. You can see they go up over time. That's because we're assuming that utility rates will go up a little bit over time. 4% is what this assumption is. If that didn't happen, if utility rates went down, your savings might go down a little bit rather than up, but it would be pretty similar to that $500 over time. And this is for a system size that's similar to the size that we'd be installing through this program. Okay, and so these are the components of a solar system. So you have on the top your solar panels. They make up the solar array on your roof. And those, you'll usually have conduit running outdoors. It doesn't actually show it here, it probably should. But you'll have conduit running on the outside of your house to an inverter. The inverter converts the energy from the solar panels, that they produce, a DC energy, into AC energy, which is the type that we use in our homes. And then it will connect to your service panel. Your service panel can probably be the same one that you have. If you have an older panel, it may not have enough room for solar, and so it may need to be upgraded. And then you'll have your utility meter, which they'll actually come in and put in a special solar meter for your solar. And that will be the one that goes backwards and forwards. So when you're purchasing this equipment through, or you're not doing it, but the Solar for All and the Solarize the Land Trust program is doing it, the solar will come with a 25-year warranty, as well as the inverter. This could change a little bit, but this is what we've been looking at for this program. And then the installer has a 10-year workmanship warranty. So that's all good to keep in mind. That's how long your equipment will be warranted for, and you'll be able to call up and have problems fixed. Okay, and so here's how we're paying for these programs for this solar installation. So first we have our Solarize funding. This is a combination of funding from Spark Northwest and from Solar for All. And so this is for homeowners in Washington County, as you probably saw in the email invitation. And that funding we're combining with two other funding sources. One is the Oregon Department of Energy rebates. They have rebates that are available for low and moderate income customers. And then there's also the Energy Trust Solar Within Reach program, and this is also an income qualified program. The Oregon Department of Energy rebates are not available until hopefully January. The funding has been used up for this year. We're hoping that there will be additional funding next year. We expect that there will be. However, it is a tough time for the state. They have less revenue, and so it's possible that that program could be cut or have a little bit less funding than we had expected. So that's a long way of saying we're hoping that we will have 5 homes who are able to participate in this program from Washington County. It's not guaranteed, but we will do our best to get those rebates and make that happen. We do need both of those incentives to make sure that all 5 homes would get solar. Otherwise, we'd have to work with fewer homes. Those 2 programs are both income qualified, as I mentioned, and so we are looking to have income qualification early on in the process to make sure that you're able to get those rebates. So this is the income qualification amounts. These were also in the information that you sent out, and we can of course provide it afterwards as well. So again, no need to scribble it down. And I will point out that these are not necessarily, these are our best guesses at the income qualification. It's kind of a moving target, and so we've done our best. If you're a little bit higher income, you can let us know, and we'll keep you in mind if that does, if the income qualification changes. And also, I know that 2020 has been a very strange year, and your income may have changed. We'll generally be looking at 2019 income, but if your income has gone down in 2020, you can also let us know, and we could look at that and see if you qualify that way as well. Okay, and so here's the process to apply for that Solarize funding. First, after you let us know that you're interested, we'll do a remote site assessment to just get a general idea. Do you have a roof that faces the right way? Is there shading, or does it have pretty good sun? And so we'll look at those things and let you know if it's a good fit based on our initial review. Then we'll have you fill out an application. So that application is very simple. It really is just information so that we can do the income qualification. After that, we'll confirm your income to make sure that you do qualify, and then we'll schedule a site visit with the installer where they'll actually come out and look at your home, look at your roof. That's a situation where they may see some, if your roof is older, or if you need changes to your electrical system. And so that's when we'll know for sure whether solar will be feasible for your home. And I should say, because we're looking at being able to fund 5 homes through this program, we'll do that step of just selecting the 5 homes once we confirm the income qualification. So we'll make a decision at that point. And then if any of them don't work for site visits, then we'd have to go back and look again at like a waiting list. So then after you get your site visit, you would sign a contract and also that paperwork to get the rebates and incentives. And we would submit that information. And once you get approved for all of that for your rebates and incentives, then we can actually do the installation. So that was a lot of information. I wanted you to get a full sense of the process. However, all you really need to remember is to get in touch with Ryan to get started. So here's his information. You may have it already. And he will help you get started and get you the application form and help you fill that out. And you may be wondering, if you're not in Washington County, what can you do? In that case, you can still get in touch with Ryan. We will put you on a interest list of folks who are interested in solar. We don't have any immediate funding for additional homes. We don't know, when that would come or where it would come from. I'd say all partners are excited about this program and we want to see more solar homes. We just don't know exactly when it would happen. And also, if you have some money in the bank that you would like to spend on solar, that's also possible. If you're interested in going forward with solar, you can still get energy trust incentives and rebates from the Department of Energy. And so I'd be happy to help you get started in that process as well. So if you're interested in going for solar without any funding from the Solarize Land Trust, just get in touch with me and I can help you get started. Okay, so it's 6:37. I said I would take questions until 6:45 and then we'll move into community solar. So I don't see questions in the chat. Does anyone have questions you want to add into the chat box?
It doesn't look like there's any questions in there right now.
Okay, well, we can move on to our community solar presentation and we can go back and do more questions at the end if folks have more questions. Okay, so now I will turn it over to Haley Mountain from the Community Energy Project to talk about the Oregon Community Solar Program.
Yeah, thank you, Jill. So hello everyone, my name is Haley Mountain, and as Jill mentioned, I am going to talk a little bit about the Oregon Community Solar Program. So this program is very different than everything that we just talked about because it is solar that is not on your home. It's almost like investing in solar that is off-site, and you still get a lot of the same great benefits that you would if you were able or did invest and put it onto your roof. Next slide, please. If you're not familiar with Community Energy Project, we're a Portland-based nonprofit. We've been around for 40 years, and we're really well known in the community for providing our do-it-yourself weatherization workshop. But we also have a lot of other community education that we provide around lead poisoning prevention and attic insulation, as well as this new Saving with Solar presentation that we're providing to the community. We also provide direct home services for seniors and people with disabilities where we can do home audits and then do weatherization and safety repairs in the home for them so that they can stay safe and live in their home longer. And we also do more holistic home solution and upgrades for folks who are interested in increasing the efficiency of their home. Next slide, please. So back in 2016, which seems like a long time ago, there was a Senate Bill 1547, which passed. It was known as the Coal to Clean Bill. And it's actually what made community solar, this program, available and an option here in Oregon. You might have heard a little bit about the other pieces, which are moving Oregon away from coal and having our energy be 50% from renewables by 2040. So this made community solar available. And one of the mandates highlights was that 10% of all of the energy produced by these community solar projects would be made available for low-income customers. And that's where my organization, Community Energy Project, got involved. We do a lot of free programming and programming for low-income residents in the area. And so we were really interested in seeing how we could connect more low-income folks to renewable energy, which is something that has not been accessible for a long time. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, community solar is very different from rooftop solar. So obviously the program that we just heard about is wonderful, putting solar panels on your home and getting that power directly running the lights in your home is great, but it does have a lot of barriers that, you know, sometimes it comes down to finance and the actual homeowner within a home, but also, as we heard, there's ongoing maintenance. You do have to own the home to purchase the panels to go on your home, unless you have a really awesome landlord that wants to take that on. And it's very unlikely that if you move away from your home that you're going to pull the solar panels off and take them to your next home. So they do pass on to the person purchasing the home. And then also you have to have a roof that's in good condition, which around Portland can be really difficult. We have a lot of older homes, and then you have to have that proper sun exposure for the panels to actually produce energy. So community solar, by being offsite, knocks down a lot of those barriers. And then the program that I'm working with specifically for low-income residents overcomes a lot of the financial barriers. So there's no upfront costs or termination fees, no financing or loans or grants that have to be approved or received before you can sign up for community solar. The projects are very large scale, and there are project managers and developers who oversee all of the maintenance of these projects. So you don't have to worry about even getting up there once a year to clean those solar panels. And you can take your solar panel subscription with you. So if you're a renter, or if you, purchase a new home, you can still just transfer your subscription right on over to your new electricity bill as soon as you move. You also do not have to live in a single family home. So you can be a renter, you can live in a condo, you can live in a mobile home. Any of those situations, because the panels don't have to go on your roof, it will work for you. Next slide, please. So the Oregon Community Solar Program is tied to the 3 major utilities here in Oregon. So that's Portland General Electric, Pacific Power, and Idaho Power. This is kind of just a visual representation. So all of the area here, Multnomah County, Washington County, Clackamas County, are all covered primarily by Portland General Electric or Pacific Power. These are where all of the projects are going to be placed, somewhere within these territories. And all of these projects are brand new developments. So this solar doesn't exist until there's people subscribing to the program, which initiates developers to actually develop these programs. So by taking part, you're actually helping build new renewable energy within the state of Oregon. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, Community Energy Project is working specifically on the low income portion of this program, that 10% of energy that has to be made available for low income residents. This is the current income chart for what that means to be a low income resident. And I know, Jill, you mentioned the income guidelines that you're looking at are from 2019. We actually just do a quick phone call and ask you what your household size and income is for that current month that you're on the phone with us. And then you're income qualified. The contracts actually last for 10 years and we'll never call you up and income qualify you again. So if you have had a change in your income due to COVID or other situations, now is a great time to get connected. And then if your income goes up, that's great. You can still take part of this program. My organization has been part of this program since the very beginning. So we were able to help with program design, and we're also in charge of doing all of the outreach and recruitment for folks, doing presentations like this, as well as our independent public presentations that we provide. And then we do the intake and connect all low-income customers directly to projects. So you're just gonna have to deal with us, have a quick phone call, and then you're all set up and ready to go. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, this is kind of a subscription that you would sign up for. So if you're familiar with any other type of subscription services like Netflix, it is something that you pay for on a regular basis. But as a low-income participant, your bills actually never increase. So your subscription fee will always be lower than the amount of solar credits that you're getting. These contracts last for 10 to 20 years, but you can cancel at any time with no additional fees. And the contract that you sign when you get connected to a program tells you exactly how much of a solar panel array you're getting. So you can see this image here has a lot of solar panels, and you're just getting a tiny little slice that you get to invest in and get the energy from. And you might have all your neighbors, a corner store, a school, other organizations will buy up the rest, and then it kind of functions as this bulk buying option where everyone is paying to take part in this really large array. There are, as I mentioned, folks that are overseeing this, developers or what we call project managers. So they're responsible for making sure these are up and running. They become the point of contact once you're signed up. They'll let you know how your panels are doing, what they're producing, and it could be an entity that's a developer or even a community-based organization or a housing organization. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, your bills will never increase by taking part in community solar. If anything, they'll just go down. Right now, we're seeing folks saving anywhere from 10 to 15% annually on their energy bills. And all of this does happen directly on your electricity bill. So you don't have an extra bill or an extra check that comes every month. PGE, Pacific Power, and Idaho Power will take care of all of that. So it just becomes a different line item on your bill that you'll receive every month. Obviously, solar panels produce a lot more energy in the summer, so you will see larger savings through the sunnier months. But even in January, even in December, your solar panels will be able to produce a little bit of energy. So you'll pay a small fee, and then you'll probably save, $2 to $5 depending on your energy use. While in the summer, you might see discounts, upwards of $40 on your bill. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we connect you to projects, and it's a really straightforward process. We've tried to make it as simple as possible. Next slide, please. We are able to do all of our intake calls and connecting to projects in any language, and scheduling can be done directly on our website. There's no sign-up fees to participate, no fees if you cancel. The only real thing that comes of it is that you get discounted monthly utility bills. There's also no late fees. So if you find yourself, especially in the winter months, having trouble keeping up on your bills or maybe needing energy assistance during those winter months, there are no late fees if you fall behind. You'll just catch up as soon as you catch up on your energy bill like you would with anything else. You can transfer your subscription, so if you move out of the home or you have a roommate situation, you can definitely transfer to someone who's remaining in the household. And then as I mentioned, you can take the subscription with you if you move across town into a different home. Next slide. So if you're interested or maybe you follow through with this program that Proud Ground and Spark Northwest has been talking about, and you're not able to make it work, maybe something's up with your roof or anything like that, you can just get in contact with us and we'll walk you through the intake process. I will have our contact information in just a few slides. We do just have the intake happen over the phone. So we'll ask you things like your household size, your total income, some information about your utility account so we can make sure you get set up with the right size for your energy usage when it comes to the solar panels. And we'll collect all of that over the phone. We'll send you a form to make you verify that all that information looks good to go. And then you go on our wait list, and as soon as a project is ready to turn on, you get connected to that project manager, sign your contract, and then you start seeing the savings on your bill within that month. Next slide. I think I already mentioned this. So intake appointment happens really easily. We connect you to the project manager. And the next slide is, yay, you're connected to your project manager and you are saving with some community solar. The next slide, I believe, is our contact information. So again, my name is Haley Mountain, and my coworker Sam is our community solar coordinator. So he's doing all of our phone calls. He does a little bit more in-depth presentations, which you can find on our website that's listed there, communityenergyproject.org/solar. We have downloadable flyers. We have lots of materials translated into multiple languages. So if you're interested in pursuing this, you know, if this other program doesn't work out, or if you have friends, you know, that are renters that might be interested in investing in renewable, definitely feel free to just reach out and let us know. We'd be happy to chat more about the program. And I'm happy to answer any questions as well, if this has sparked anything new in all of you, but I recognize it's Thursday evening, so everyone might just be a little bit tired here.
Okay, yeah, I don't see any questions in the chat. Folks, feel free to put in more questions either for Haley about community solar or about the Solarize program. We can stick around for a few minutes and see if we have any more of those come through. Otherwise, I'm not seeing much come through. If anybody wants to ask a question in person, if that's easier for you, you can also unmute yourself at this point and ask it in person too. So, okay.
I have a question.
Okay, great.
For the first program, my type of roof is tile.
Yes, okay. That's good to know. It's not necessarily a deal breaker. There are options for tile roofs as well. We'd have to look and make sure that it would be cost effective still. So you can definitely get in touch with Ryan, and we can check it out. Yep.
Okay, and another question. They install the solar panel, they have to be installed on their house. This is my garage. And this is my house.
Yeah, we could look at a garage. We would just want to make sure that the energy, or that you have do you have electricity to your garage?
Yes.
Okay. So that helps, and so it's just a matter of being able to run the wiring to be able to tie into your electrical panel. So again, not a deal breaker, something that we could look at.
Okay, just because I don't have trees here, or in the other side, and the sun is there.
Yes. I love being able to actually see, you can just show it to us.
Oh, okay.
Okay, does anybody else have questions?
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for coming. Okay, I'm seeing one. Do different community solar projects have different savings rates? Haley, you're still on mute.
Of course. You think at this point I would have it down to be virtual. That's a great question. So currently right now, because of how financials worked out for most of the developers, we're seeing very similar savings for all of the projects. So if you sign up now for some of the projects coming online in the next month versus the ones coming online next year, it's going to be about the same. The savings really change based on your energy usage. So the bigger your home is, you know, the more people you have living there, usually the more energy you use. And so we can offset more of it, I guess, is the easiest way of saying it. So it's still always going to be within 10 to 15% of your actual annual electricity usage. And it just varies based on the exact size kilowatt system that you get. But you can look at your last year of records, do the math, and get a good estimate between 10 and 15% with community solar.
Okay, Haley, another one for you. If folks have income that's too high to qualify, how can they get involved in a community solar project?
Yeah, so if you just type in Oregon Community Solar Program, there is the main Oregon Community Solar website, and that is kind of what we call like the other 90%. So the folks that we're not focused on, and that 10% carve out for low income folks. And it's a little bit more direct. Rather than having to go through an intake process, you actually just reach out to the project manager or the developer of the site directly, let them know that you're interested, and when they come online, you basically sign the contract with them. So rather than us being the point of contact, you can reach out directly to them, but you can always reach out to us and we can connect you. If you can't find it, we'd be happy to get you connected.
Okay, and we can include that link in our follow-up email as well.
Great.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Anyone want to unmute themselves to ask a question? Okay, I am going to shift to our last slide here. So this is my contact information. I should have had Ryan's on here as well. If you have follow-up questions about solar technology, or if you would like to move forward with solar on your own, you can definitely reach out to me at this information, or if you want to get started with that solar application, go ahead and reach out to Ryan.
Yes, I can be contacted at ryan@proudground.org. I also want to mention that I'll send a PDF copy of this slideshow tomorrow along with the survey.
Okay, great. Yes, and please follow up on that survey. That definitely will help us out. Okay, so with that, we can let everyone go 3 minutes early to enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming tonight, and we look forward to hearing from you about getting involved in these programs.
Thanks, Jill.
Thanks, bye.